Hey guys, it's Charles again. Thanks for coming back to our how-to series. Last week we briefly spoke about, okay, you're ready to buy, but how can I get started? The first step is to get your financing sorted out, right? We spoke about different ways you can come up with your down payment. Also, we spoke about if you need lending, which most of our investors do, because leverage is the number one most important thing we can have in real estate investing. You can either go directly to the bank, you can establish connection with a mortgage broker, you can get financing from the seller itself, it's called vendor take back, or you can find a partner, friend, somebody who wants to be a money partner, and just have them go through the bank and get lending on their name. But the bottom line was, for anybody starting out, the first thing you need to do is establish a relationship with the mortgage brokers who specialize in real estate investment. These guys are the key, right? They have access to most of the A lenders, B lenders, private lenders, mono lenders. So definitely that is the way to go, in my opinion. Okay, so once you have figured out your financing, next thing we're going to talk about today is strategies, right? But before we dive into each specific strategy, I wanted to ask you, what type of investor are you, right? This question, it really boils down to the following. Do you have the time? How much time do you have to spend on real estate investing per week? Is it 10 hours? Is it 5 hours? Or is it 50 hours, right? So if you have the time, then you go here, and the next question I would ask you is, do you have the money? Do you have the down payment, right? Can you get the financing, right? This is all part of, do you have the money? So if you have the money and if you have the time, this is where the professional full-time investors are, right? Many of the investors we see or on social media, or if you follow podcast, many of the full-time investors, they have the time, and not only they have the time, but they have the money because they've been in the market for so long and they have the equity to play, right? So what does that mean? A professional investor, what are they doing? They're doing flips, right? They may be their own general contractor, so they have a list of sub trades that they can use for each of their projects, and the materials are already standardized so that every flip project looks the same. It's all about just the buying. Land severances. So this is a strategy where you buy a extra deep or extra big, just a big piece of land, and you are dividing up that plot of land from one lot into two lots, or sometimes even three, right? This is an advanced strategy. You have to go through the city in developmental cost, and there's just a lot to it, right? Once you have severed the lot, you can do infill developments. So infill developments are, where you are building a new home on a lot that you have severed, right? Or wherever there's a pocket of lot that the city is not utilizing to the max, you're taking advantage of that lot and building a brand new home, changing the characteristics of the neighborhood, and just helping with affordability issue we have. New build, this is something we see in a lot of the more luxury neighborhoods. For example, Oakville, southeast end, we see a lot of the bungalows being torn down and a lot of builders coming in to do a new build or custom homes, right? So basically, this is for all the advanced strategies, right? So if you're a full-time investor and you're a professional full-time investor, you're doing all the advanced strategies, right? However, what if you have the time but you don't have the money, right? I think a lot of people in millennials who are starting out, if you are in your 20s or early 30s, Maybe this is the case where you have the time but you don't have the money. So how can you get started in investing in real estate? Well, there's ways, right? One of the best way I can think of is wholesaling, right? So wholesaling is basically you're trying to tie up a deal on paper and transferring that agreement to another investor um, with a price that you set, right? So an example would be if the market price is 400,000, but you found a deal that is only 350, and on paper you have it agreement of purchase price at 350, but you put in your wholesale fees, so now it's 352, right? Maybe 370, right? $20,000, and then investor comes in and buy that agreement with you from you for 370, right? Still, you win as a wholesaler, and the investor also win because they're getting 30,000 below market value. So that's what wholesaling means. So how do you do wholesaling? You have to find deals, right? Like basically your value proposition is coming from finding a deal that is attractive enough for someone to come take over your agreement. The deals will attract the money, guaranteed, right? If the deal is good, if the house is in a good, attractive location, and you've somehow picked it up below market value, um, the deal will attract the money, right? That means you have to do door knocking, right? You have to send out flyers, maybe by postal code. If you go to Canada Post, a lot of times you can do those mass flyers. You select your postal code area you want to target, um, and you have to do cold calls, and you may have to spend time and money on internet marketing. So whatever ways that can get those private sellers who wants to sell or in a difficult situation but does not want to hire a realtor or does not want to deal with the MLS, um, those are the deals that you pick up, right? So this is a way for somebody who has time but does not have money to get started in real estate investment, right? So what if you don't have the time, right? You're really busy, you have a family, you have a full-time job, or maybe you have a full-time job and another side hustle. So you're really, really busy, you don't have the time, but you want to get started investing. So one question would be, same question, do you have the money, right? Okay, you don't have the time, but do you have the money? If you have the money, then you need to leverage. So you don't have, everybody has the same amount of hours in a day. So if you have the money can buy you time and expertise. So that means it's okay for you to hire a realtor. It's okay for you to hire a property manager once you close to manage the day in, day outs and deal with the tenants. And it's okay when you do a renovation to hire a general contractor. So this is supposed to be GC. Yeah. So if you're thinking about doing the rental yourself and you don't have the time, but you have the money, maybe it's time to think about what's your hourly worth, right? So in my opinion, if you have the money, go ahead and hire a property manager. Go ahead and hire a general contractor for your rentals. And it's okay to buy on MLS. And I think it's from Warren Buffett that, if you are not a professional investor, that's okay. Just buy on market and go back to work, right? So it's okay that the idea is it's okay to be a retail investor. You don't need to be, scooping up the deals. You don't need to be door knocking. You don't need to be sending out flyers, spending hundreds in marketing to scoop up a deal. If you are just a retail investor, then just hire the professionals and you'll still do very well, right? Because time is with you, right? So that's the big thing. A lot of people I see who is in this category, they want to do all the advanced strategies, but they don't know what it takes. And a lot of times when I show them what it takes and the properties that it's gonna make sense, and they get very, very scared because of the condition of the property. It's like uh, it's very, very, very poor condition. So a lot of people haven't seen it, but they want to do it. They just see the numbers. Um, but yeah, if you have the money and you don't have the time, it's okay. Just buy on MLS, buy at market, and once you're in the market will reward you. And hire a contractor or hire a property manager. If you don't have the time and you don't have the money, this is where you are in trouble, right? So first thing is you need to work on yourself. Maybe read some books, find a mentor, find someone in your life who is doing what you want to do, and just shadow them. You need to work on your increasing your income. Perhaps you need to change your job. Perhaps you need to start your business. Perhaps you need to just work harder and have your hustle. And you just need to figure it out what you need to do to increase your income and get out of where you are today, right? It doesn't come overnight, but I would say if your mind starts shifting, and you're surrounding yourself with people who are high achievers, it will naturally come, and your daily routine is gonna change, your motivation is gonna change, your habits gonna change. Um, you should be able to increase your income if you just hustle. And another way is to decrease your expense. So figure out what kind of lifestyle am I living, right? Um, is what kind of car am I driving relative to the income that I have, right? What's my car payments, right? This is liability. Do you really need the fancy car? Do you really, really enjoy your car to the point you can't get a mortgage, right? Um, because it all comes back to you, right? And can you eliminate some of the bad debt, right? If you have a high interest loan or some sort and you're not spending it on investment, you're not getting the return, if not more than what you're paying for that loan, then to me that's a bad debt. So work on eliminating your bad debt. Um, that should be first, and eliminate expensive habit, right? Smoking, racing. um, you guys know what I mean, right? Anything that gives you a lot of pleasure, and you want to do it very frequent, but it's very, very expensive. I will say, just revisit that, see if you can cut down on some of those habits, right? What are you paying on rent, right? A lot of people, like, I am so shocked. They're willing to pay the same amount of rent as you were to pay for your own mortgage if you were to buy. Rent payments to me is you're paying down someone else's mortgage payment. You're paying down um, the principal portion of their loan. You're building equity for the landlord. So your payment is just going down the water, right? And you're all those years. You could be renting for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the landlord has made considerable equity that he's able to refinance or reinvest in something else. But as a renter, really, you lost out on everything, right? Unless you're paying really, really below market value, right? Um, that's my opinion on rents. It's up to you what you guys think, but yeah, make sure you do the math, right? And monthly entertainment on subscriptions. So Netflix, magazines, um, um, there are subscriptions that I would think it's beneficial, like Audible, who allows you to listen to audiobooks while you're on the road. These subscriptions I think is well worth it, but other subscriptions it's purely for entertainment. I would see if you can cut down all those. All right. So if you don't have the money and you don't have the time, that means you're busy doing stuff that are maybe urgent but not very important. So maybe one of the way you can identify those is have a chart, a timeline of your day to day, and really write down your tasks. What did I do today? What did I do from 10 to 12? What did I do after lunch? From 1 to 2? What did I do from 2 to 3? What did I do from 4 to 5? Write down all the tasks that you've done and identify if it's critical, if it's important, right? Did you really need to spend your time doing all that? And try to cut down any of the non-essential tasks so that you can focus your time on more of important activities so that you can move forward in creating a better income, decreasing your expense, so that at least you're busy, but now you're in this category where you have the time, right? If you have the time, then you can do more stuff, or you have the money, right? Okay, so that's the video for today. Thank you very much. If you guys like this kind of content and this way of expressing how I think about investment, please click like and subscribe. Other than that, see you guys next week. Bye for now.